You guys remember how obsessed we were with hide and seek as kids? Like the second you stepped off the school bus, it was all about finding the perfect hiding spot. We would literally play for hours until the streetlights came on. But there was this one game, this one time that was different. We used to play this super intense team version in my old neighborhood, and let me tell you, it was the ultimate test of friendship and fear. Our neighborhood was like a giant playground, especially this one cul-de-sac at the end of my street. We're talking tons of trees, bushes, even a little wooded area behind the houses that was perfect for hiding. And the best part? We knew every inch of that place like the back of our hands. Or so we thought. It was the kind of neighborhood where everyone knew each other, you know? Like your parents would send you outside and not worry, because they knew Mrs. Henderson across the street was watching. That's probably why they let us roam free, playing hide and seek until the sun went down. Little did we know something was lurking in those woods. I'll never forget that feeling. I was crouched down behind this giant oak tree, heart pounding, when I saw it, or at least I thought I saw something. This figure, all dark and shadowy, just standing at the edge of the woods, staring in our direction. My blood ran cold. We were just kids, but in that moment we knew we had to stick together. We ran faster than we'd ever run before, back to my friend's house, breathless and terrified. Even though we were scared, there was this weird sense of adrenaline, you know? Like we'd just survived something crazy together. After that night, our parents were freaking out. No more playing in the woods after dark. We had to stick together in groups. It felt like our whole world had shrunk, our playground suddenly off limits. But what really freaked everyone out was that no one could figure out who or what had been watching us. The woods behind our houses backed up to this big nature preserve. Totally creepy if you ask me. People always talked about weird noises and strange animals living back there. After what happened, it felt like the trees themselves were watching us, like the darkness had eyes. The cops came and everything, asked us a million questions. But we were just kids. And to be honest, I don't think they really believed us. They said it was probably just a deer or something, but I knew what I saw, or at least I thought I did. Our little cul-de-sac never felt the same after that. The neighborhood association even put up a fence around the woods, like they were trying to keep something out. Or maybe keep something in. Either way, it was a constant reminder of that night, of the fear we felt. A few weeks later, a new family moved in across the street. They seemed nice enough, but there was something about them that felt off. The parents kept to themselves, and the son, who was around my age, always had this blank look on his face, like he was staring into another dimension. My parents, always the friendly type, insisted I go over and say hi, so I did. But the whole time I was talking to that kid, I felt like I was being watched, judged, like he knew something I didn't. It was beyond creepy. I tried to shake it off, told myself I was just being paranoid. But the more I saw that kid, the more convinced I became that something wasn't right. He was always lurking around the edge of the woods, just like the figure I'd seen that night. And he never seemed to blink, ever. I tried to be his friend, I really did. But it was like trying to befriend a brick wall. He wasn't interested in video games or sports or any of the things normal kids liked. And his parents were no help, always watching us with these unsettling smiles. Then it happened. I was walking home from school one day when I felt it, that familiar feeling of being watched. I turned around and there he was, standing across the street, staring right at me. His eyes were cold, empty, like the eyes of a shark. And in that moment I knew he was the one in the woods that night. I ran home, heart pounding out of my chest. I told my parents everything, but just like the cops, they didn't really believe me. but I knew deep down that something was seriously wrong with that kid. And I knew I couldn't ignore my gut feeling anymore. I never figured out what or who was watching us in the woods that night. But it taught me a valuable lesson about trusting my instincts and being vigilant, especially in seemingly safe environments. You never really know who your neighbors are or what secrets they might be hiding, so stay aware, guys, and if you see something, say something.